We need to cover some basics about RoboCop before I dive into this review. First off, this film was brilliant and is loved by many. Second, it spawned a hit franchise that delivered 2 sequels. And third, it's one of the most violent films I've ever seen. Anyways, RoboCop is set in a future not too far away from our present time and tackles corruption, identity, and capitalism in a very satirical and violent manner. It's a film about normal everyday cop Alex J. Murphy, who just wants to do his job and uphold the law so he can provide for his family. However, he is caught early in the movie by the main villain, Clarence Bodiger, played by Kurtwood Smith from That 70s Show fame.
How'd you like to own a little bit of my foot in your ass?
Well, as you may already know, Bodiger and his goons shoot Murphy to death in what I consider one of the most violent scenes in movies. And thus RoboCop is born. How so, you may ask? Especially after they just about shot up every part of his body and left him mangled beyond recognition? Who cares? This union of man and machine would later go on to become one of the most beloved movie icons ever. Many people just seen it as an ultra-violent flick, but underneath the surface of what is known as RoboCop is a film that had much more than violence to offer. Also, I am aware that there is a remake slated for release in 2014, and my feelings towards that are a bit biased. I feel this film doesn't need to be remade. It is one of the best films of '87. Even so, I will watch the remake, and I will give it a fair chance. Anyways, this isn't a movie review, this is a game review, an NES game at that. So let's get into it. Okay, so here we are at the title screen. I see a continue option, so that makes me very happy. And then we go to a cutscene where RoboCop seems to already be established, and he draws his gun. Well, I guess we don't have to play as Alex, but I don't think it would have necessarily hurt the game considering Alex's capture and death are vital to the story. So the game starts you out on the streets, and it seems that both the A button and the B button are your punch command. The select button blocks, though I didn't figure that out until the 3rd stage. Also, there is no jump button, but that's okay. Many great games don't have a jump button. Plus, that means it's less for us to worry about, like jumping over bottomless death traps. Plus, I don't think I recall RoboCop doing much jumping in the film. I'm sure he weighs quite a bit. As for your gun, well, it doesn't seem to be anywhere in sight, so maybe you just have to find one. Anywho, let's see what this stage's roster of bad guys looks like. You'll encounter crazy men trying to fistfight a cyborg, crazy men wearing purple jumping out of windows mid-dropkick, guys shooting and bombing you in mini helicopters, and these annoying dogs you will be punching in the face. Also, maybe it's just me, but these stairs remind me of the stairs in Castlevania. And I know that this may sound like I'm nitpicking, but it's kind of a pain in the ass to get up and down these stairs. Seeing that this is a control thing and hard to explain, you'll just have to trust me on this one. And considering this game has a timer that isn't so generous, to the point where you actually have to pick up time extensions, we don't have a lot of time to be teabagging these stairs all day, trying to hit that right pixel just to get down. Oh, and another nitpicky thing I will say is that not only will you have to teabag the stairs, but you will also have to teabag the items on the ground as well. I guess you can argue the fact that you're picking it up at your own leisure, and whenever the item may be needed, but almost all the time you're going to need that item anyways. Again, going back to Castlevania, which is a hard-ass game, may I add. You grab power-up items and health automatically. None of this teabagging shit is necessary. Okay, moving forward, if you look on the bottom of the screen, I'm sure you noticed the gun there.
Ooh, guns.
Yes, RoboCop did have his signature gun all along, but the game will determine when and where you will use it. I don't understand as to why they would go in this direction. It just seems odd to me. Bad move, RoboCop.
Your move, creep.
So now, we're going from punching dogs in the face to just shooting them in the face. Hey, remember in RoboCop when he would shoot dogs in the face while patrolling the streets? Yeah, me neither. Okay, so anyways, back to the gun.
Ooh, guns.
So when he does get around to using his gun, he can shoot in every direction. Just like in Contra. I never understood why so many games failed to follow suit with this concept. If you have a gun, you should be able to shoot it in every direction. I'm glad this game got that concept right. Okay, anyways, we're losing track here, now for the end of the first level. keep advancing, shooting dogs in the face until we meet our first boss of the level. Some big red dude who seems to be able to block your gunshots. Okay, now wait a minute. If the game is going to determine when and where you use your gun, why does it determine it here? The gun is absolutely pointless here. The only way to take out Big Red is just to get into a pissing match with him and have a slugfest. How flesh and bone versus metal is a sound fight in this game is beyond me. But Big Red is a pushover and will go down after a few jabs to the face. Okay, on to stage 2. Now here, RoboCop is done fucking around on the streets. He goes for his gun almost as soon as you start the level. It's a continuation of the streets, except now it's dark, and we have a few different enemies out to get you, such as Flamethrower Man in Window, Machine Gun Man in Window, and Grenade Guy with shield that doesn't protect him. After that, we move into City Hall, just like in the film. There's a hostage situation taking place, so let me ask you, if you're going into a building with thugs holding numerous hostages, including the mayor, what's the first thing you do? That's right, put your gun away and start punching enemies again. You'll make your way to the second floor and fight a repeat of the first boss with just a different color scheme this time. Now you will head to the third and final floor of the building, and the game decides now it's time to take out that gun of yours and handle business once again. To your left will be a spike wall approaching you, and my first reaction was to light it up with my gun, but it's a trap. You're not supposed to shoot it, even though the game makes you think that. So, what do? Wait, did you just see the flashing light on the wall? It's an indicator to attack the wall. Okay, so let's start shooting the wall then. But wait, nope, that doesn't do anything either. Well, the film started to play in my head, and I remember the part where RoboCop breaks through the wall with his fist. So I do that, and sure enough, it works. But what a cheap trick for the game to draw your weapon out at this screen and make you think you're supposed to start blasting your way out. To the game's credit, however, I did find them trying to follow the movie's premise enjoyable, and it's more than most movie games back in this age can say for themselves. Now, the boss of this level can be a little tricky. He's easy enough once you know the trick to beating him. Here's our hostage situation, and if you shoot directly at him, it will hit the hostage instead. So much for that fancy targeting you have, RoboCop.
Come quietly or there will be trouble.
Ah, fuck you!
If the hostage dies, it results in a game over. The trick here is just to wait until he lowers his guard a bit and shoot him. You can duck from his bullets because he doesn't know how to aim towards the ground, and after 3 shots, he will let go of the hostage. But if you continue shooting him, he just starts jumping up and down like a madman, and that idiot hostage is still in your line of fire, so he dies anyways, and it's game over. Speaking of game over, this game only gives you 1 life, and you're back at the title screen. Luckily enough, you have continues. I'm not sure if they are infinite, but I didn't see any counter indicating otherwise. And yes, once you die, it sends your ass back to the beginning of the stage. Okay, so let's get back on track here. It's very simple how you can kill this guy. After the hostage is free, simply take a few steps back and start unloading your gun on him. The reason we take a few steps back is because RoboCop's bullets don't reach all the way to the end of the screen, so they won't hit that idiot hostage. After you kill this guy, he literally flops around like a fish and disappears. Now, before we jump into the third stage, the game for some reason cuts into a bonus stage now. I feel it's a bit random, and it's purely just for score, considering you only get 1 life in the game. With my playthrough, I never got any 1-ups, so all this here is just pointless. All it is a first-person mode where you shoot the targets. There's no goal to achieve here other than wasting your time. Now, Stage 3 takes place in the warehouse, and again, it's just like the movie. Go in and start lighting up Bodeger's men. The guys at the top of the screen shooting down at you always seem to have the advantage of hitting you first. I experienced this in other levels as well, and it's pretty much just cheap shots at you to further put the pressure on you and beat the level quickly, since the enemies will respawn. I also deem this as pointless only because you have a timer on the bottom of the screen that ticks away rapidly. In my opinion, the pressure is already there. I also noticed random guns scattered throughout the level, but never acquired anything more than RoboCop's handgun. I assume the smaller guns are ammo for the bigger guns shown here, but I never did grab it, so I'm not too sure. Anyways, you make your way through this level simply by using the stairs and the elevators and blasting anyone who gets in your way. After making your way to the end of the warehouse, Clarence will be there waiting for you. He seems to be hiding behind a drum, so all you have to do is just shoot towards him, but Clarence won't make his escape once the drum is destroyed. In the movie, RoboCop actually apprehends Clarence alive and takes him to jail.
Just give me my fucking phone call.
But not here. Anyways, once he escapes, he will send 3 of his goons to finish you off, and these guys can be hard or really easy, depending on their movement. I managed to kill them just barely. Maybe if I found that big gun that was laying around the warehouse earlier, this wouldn't have been so bad. So now, in Stage 4, we are in what seems to be OCP's robot factory of some sort. I assume it's that because, well, we're fighting hostile robots, such as hostile spider robots, turret guns with laser beams, little tiny bird-looking robot things, weird turret electricity thrower sentry guns, big flamethrower turret, and the normal thug enemies as well. Don't even bother trying to kill the turret guns with laser beams, because they just keep respawning the second after you destroy them. Why even make them destructible if they do that? Anyways, do your best, keep yourself at a distance with the turrets, and you'll be fine. And as for the stupid little bird robot things, just duck under them. The flame turret is kind of annoying, because you don't know if you're actually putting any damage into it, as there is no indication. Just get in close enough until you blow that thing to hell. Right after you beat that thing, you will go to the next area where there's this guy, and he's just standing there already with his gun drawn, and yep, he gets a cheap shot off on you, right before you can even kill him. If you manage to stay alive that long, then you get to fight Ed 209.
That is only the beginning.
By this point, I was already pretty much dead, so I have to try to beat him flawlessly, if that's even possible. And you know what? It is! Yeah, Ed 209 is such a pushover in this game, but at this point, I didn't care, because I really didn't want to die and have to do the level all over again. It's very simple what you must do. Just get as close to him as possible, touch damage doesn't even apply for him, and unload on his gun. He will shoot multiple times, but it's always in a downward fashion, and you can get away from it before he can even tag you. Once you give him enough punishment, he retreats and the day is won. The timer actually manages to run out right when I kill Ed 209. This explains RoboCop's death animation, in case you were wondering. Okay, well, this isn't a walkthrough or anything like that, so after I take out Clarence, I'm going to wrap this review up. And to be honest, it was almost over after that last level when the timer decided to kill me off right when I beat Ed 209. But the game didn't seem to register it, so here's a freebie stage. Now, we're at the waste facility where we will have our final showdown with Clarence, but this time he's got a trick up his sleeve, and we're going to get into that in a minute. Now, this level starts off as basic as the first couple of stages. You're even back to shooting dogs in the face again. There is nothing new here to show you other than encountering one of his thugs that seems to be using a different weapon. Maybe this stage is trying to take it easy on you because Clarence is kind of a pain in the ass to fight. Well, this time he has some serious hardware, a Cobra gun.
Watch this.
Wait a minute, wait, Clarence!
And this weapon is very OP, and needless to say, can end the battle quickly. He runs all over the screen trying to get a beat on you and let you have it. Now, that's not the tough part. The tough part is dodging these construction beams while trying to dodge him and shoot him all at the same time. Once you get a pattern down, you're fine, but every once in a while he will drop down to the ground and fire his gun. And ducking will not work this time. To make matters worse, remember when I told you RoboCop's bullets don't go all the way across the screen? Yeah, back then it was kinda nice, but now it will get you killed, because if Clarence has enough distance on those bullets, he'll fire off that Cobra gun and wipe you out. If you manage to kill the smug son of a bitch, then consider it a job well done. It's no easy task, especially with low health. So, what's the final verdict on this game? Well, it's not horrible, that's for sure, and if I actually played it when I was a kid, I probably would have loved it. But in all truth, this game is lazy. There's only 6 stages. A few of the stages are exactly the same with different background colors and slight differences. The music is okay, but it's just the same 2 tunes over and over. Level music and boss music. Oh, and there's bonus level music, but who gives a shit? This game could have been at least 8 stages long. All they had to do was throw in some extra stuff with either RoboCop or hell, have you play as Murphy leading up to that point. RoboCop is a great movie and a great story, but the game isn't so great, and I'm glad this story is over. 5 out of 10.
You are about to read a book that my foot wrote. It's called On the Road to In Your Ass.
롯데햄 프라이드 치킨.
롯데햄 프라이드 치킨.
발라 먹으니까 실감나게 맛있습니다.
통날개 더 주세요.
와, 뼈 없는 닭튀김 요건 모를 거야?
뼈 없는 닭튀김.
롯데햄 프라이드 치킨.
롯데햄 냉동식품.